Hey friends, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. If you are new here, welcome to Butterchuck Locks, the lock care hub where I share with you my lock tips, expertise, and experiences to help guide you along for an enjoyable and, most importantly, healthy lock journey. Today, friends, we are going to be talking about what to consider before you start your locks. It is so important that we think about what is it on the journey ahead that we actually want to achieve. Now, we may not have thought about it in that way. Many of our hairstyles we don't really think about in that way. We just kind of do them and then just take it as it comes. But because of the commitment that's involved when it comes to locks, it's really important to know what you're getting into before you actually start. That way too, you have an idea of what you're working towards and what kind of things that you will be hoping to expect along the way. So stay with me. I have about 7 or 8 tips that you will need to consider before starting your locks. Now, before we even jump into that, what I would like you to do is, if this is the kind of information that you are looking to hear about and looking to use to guide you along your journey, please do like this video and press subscribe for more of these type of information videos to come. Good. Thank you. Right. The first thing we're going to have a look at is, why do you even want locks? There are different reasons why you might want to start your locks. Is it for style? Is it spiritual? Is it because it's something you think that you should do as a cultural connection? Have a think about it, because sometimes it might just be the fashion for that moment where you're saying, hey, I like how this lock style looks. It's funky, it's cute, it's stylish, which they most definitely are. And that may be a reason why you want to get them. In which case, maybe you might not want permanent locks. Maybe you might want something a bit more temporary. Faux locks, false locks, crochet locks, something that you can take out after you're moving on to the next trend and the next style. Another thing too is that it could be very spiritual. It could be a way of you connecting with your inner spirit, with yourself and your alignments. It could be to do with a new way of thinking. And so you may think, actually, I may want to take a more freeform route, which we'll go into later, along my spiritual journey. I may want to take different approaches when it comes to the products that I'm using as well, and therefore that's your spiritual route. It could also be cultural, whereby you're going to style it up. Yes, you're going to adorn yourself in a way that you feel attractive and beautiful, but this is a cultural connection. So because of that, you may want to get locks for a way of you connecting closer to your roots, to your heritage. So why do you actually want locks? If you have an idea, drop it down in the comments below and let's see, where is your head at? Why do you actually want to get locks? The next consideration that you will need to bear in mind is, what size? Now, sometimes when we go to start our locks, we assume that the size we start them off at is going to be the size that they're going to stay along the way across the years, and that is just not the case. Sometimes, depending on your hair texture as well, you will start your locks. Maybe you might say, I want small locks, and so you'll start them quite small, but then what happens is, over time, with the twisting or the interlocking or the weight of the locks themselves, they actually get a lot thinner, and what you end up having to do is start joining locks together, which is something that you would like to avoid as much as you can. Likewise, if you want bigger size locks, you might get big size locks now and say this is the size that they're going to stay as I go on my journey. But then what actually happens is, through budding and swelling of the hair, they actually are bigger than the sizing that you had originally wanted. And then with that as well, then it weighs down on the root. So it does take a bit of thinking as to, what do you want them to look like in the end? What size do you prefer? And that also goes down to the kind of art of being able to know what suits your face shape. So if you have a smaller face, maybe a more medium to small size lock would suit your face shape better. If you have a much wider face, maybe larger partings might suit you better, or even the opposite. A larger face might mean, or a wider face might mean smaller partings, smaller locks. So you need to have a think about, how do you currently wear your hair, and what kind of styles. If you have braids, what size braids fit you best? what kind of direction in which what you want them to lay, or how you would like them to look. That's all really important as well. Do you want sister locks? Do you want micro locks? Do you want larger locks? That's something to look at. So when you are looking at pictures, and this links into my next point in terms of who is your lock inspiration, have a look at, does this person look like me in regards to, does this person have hair like mine, a hair texture like mine? Does this person have a face shape like mine? Is this person's style like mine? Therefore, when you're going into it, you have an accurate picture in mind. If you're looking at a picture of someone who has a completely different texture hair, different face shape, and different lock sizing, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you in the same way. Okay, and yes, everyone's locks are different, so no two locks are the same, but it's a guide to help you along as to what you are actually looking to achieve. Right, the next thing to consider, lifestyle. Lifestyle does play a big factor in how you would choose to wear your hair in locks, probably more so along the lines of techniques. So you have palm roll, you have interlocking. So if you are someone who is quite active at the gym, quite active in general, running, sporty, athletic, if you like to wash your hair more often as well, if your hair also is a looser texture where a coil won't hold as tightly as tighter coiled hair will, you might want to consider interlocking as the technique going forward as opposed to palm roll, especially if you do not have the time to be retwisting your hair quite often. And again, these points kind of like roll into each other, so I'll get to the time on the lifestyle part as well. But it is mostly about, what is your lifestyle like and how is this style going to best fit you? So do you want to go ahead with interlocking? Do you want to go ahead with palm roll? What's going to work for you? Do you even have the patience for palm roll as well? Because that can sometimes get to you if your hair is of a looser texture also. So that's something you want to consider as well. Your lifestyle. What is going to help complement your lifestyle when it comes to getting your locks? So roll into our next consideration now. How much time do you currently give to your hair routine? If you're someone who right now just can't bother with your hair at all, pulls it into a bun and off you go, you might find the beginning stages of your locks quite troublesome, because you do actually need to maintain it. I guess the misconception is that once you get locks, you leave it and you have no worries whatsoever. That is not actually the case. Not that you have any worries, but you do still need to care for and maintain your hair, especially within the first year. And so if you find that you want a cure-all or you want no fuss, then you are actually going to have to fuss with your hair a little bit. Likewise, on the other end of the spectrum, if you are somebody who always has your hair pristine, every hair in place, not a hair out of place, and you get your hair done every week, every 2 weeks, again, the starting stages of locks is going to get under your skin. I am not going to deny that. The fuzz, the messiness, the lack of preening is really going to get to you, because it's going to be something out of your comfort zone, something that isn't what you are currently doing with your hair. And you need to think, can I deal with that? Can I persevere and push through that, knowing that beyond that first 6 months to a year, it will begin to shape into something that I am more comfortable with. Likewise too, even while your locks are maturing, you don't want to overdo it, because if you do, that then leads to breakage, thinning, which is the breakage, and you then essentially becoming very unhappy with what your locks are becoming. And then what would you do? Cut them off and maybe never start them back again, having had a negative experience with them because we weren't looking after them in the right way. So have a think too. What are you currently doing with your hair? How much time are you currently giving to your hair? And is that something that you can compromise on, either giving more or doing less when it comes to starting your lock process? Right, the next point now is a little bit more psychological, okay? It's a little bit more about what's happening up here. Are you easily influenced by others? Now, I'm not talking about the influence of someone influenced you to get locks and therefore you should change your mind about that. No, by all means, influence away, go do that. But what I'm saying is, How are you going to stay focused on this journey? Now, as many of you know, and it may be the reason why you haven't yet got locks, is that many people will have something to say about your hair. And I'm sure similar phrases like, why would you do that to your pretty hair? Why would you do that? Those aren't nice. They're not professional. Why don't you wait till you're older in age to do that? X, Y, and Z. No, and sometimes the comments are even more derogatory than anything I've just said. And you need to know for yourself, is that something that I can push to the side, say thank you, but no thanks? That's your opinion. I appreciate what you have to say, but I'm going to do my own thing. It's really difficult, especially if you're already in two minds about it yourself. If you already feel uncomfortable with the idea of this change whereby you are being seen and presented at work, at your kid's school, to your partner, as wearing your hair in this very supernatural state. Wow, is it magical? Yes, they are. They're magical, okay? They're supernatural. In this very, very natural state, are you going to be able to push past those negative comments? Are you going to be able to say, do you know what? This is my hair and my hair is beautiful and my locks are going to be beautiful. Never mind what you say. Or are you going to kind of crumble under the pressure of the judgment of others and decide, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. You know, my husband doesn't like this, or, you know, my girlfriend would prefer if I had a cleaner cut, or, you know, whatever the case might be. Are you someone who is going to influence that person and show them that actually this is a beautiful journey that you are on and it's something that you're going to try and see if it is definitely for you? So have a think about that. Are you going to be easily influenced by the negative comments of others? And lastly, the last consideration is who's placing hands on you, okay? Whose hands are you allowing in your crown, right? Now, I'm sure you may have heard the saying, and if you have not all stylists were created equally. Some stylists don't care for what you want in the same way. Some stylists may not necessarily have the experience or the expertise to know what would work best for you, or to at least work with you to assist in giving you what will work best for you. And it is really, really up to you to please do your due diligence, do your research when it comes to finding a loctician who will care for your hair. Not just do your hair, not just style your hair, care for your hair. That means during the consultation phase or during the initial, you know, sit down in the stylist's chair, and when you talk and you discuss what you want, that conversation has to happen. The stylist should say, what would you like? What are you after? What are you looking to achieve? Basically, everything that I've just asked in this video is a consultation. You know, what do you want to achieve? What are your hair concerns? What are your questions? What do you want to achieve by the end of it? All of these things do need to be considered, and it is the stylist's job to work alongside you to give you what you need. Okay, that's the difference. Not necessarily what you want, because sometimes if you want a bleach blonde, that's not what you need. Okay, it's what you want, but it's not what you need. So likewise, with same thing with the locks as well. Yes, you want what you would like, but we need to work with you with what you need to ensure the best passage for you to get there. You following? Yeah? Okay, so just to cover over those points again, why do you want to get locks? What size locks would you like? And also, what technique may you prefer? What method technique is going to suit your lifestyle? Who is your lock inspiration and why? How much time and attention are you currently giving to your hair routine? And is that something that you are willing to change / improve on when you start your locks? Are you easily influenced by the negative comments of others? And lastly, who's putting their hands in your hair? do your due diligence and find you a loctician who knows what they're doing and cares about your hair. So as ever, I hope that information was helpful to you, and I would love to hear your viewpoints, your concerns, your thought process when it comes to starting the locks down in the comments. Remember, please do press the subscribe button, press the bell so that you can be notified whenever I post a video, which hopefully will be once a week on a Thursday afternoon for your weekend perusal. And most importantly, I want to talk with you. So please do comment below. We can chop it up in the comments and we can grow our community. So until next time, keep drinking your water and keep counting your blessings. Bye.